My name is David Crow, and I'm one of the pastors here at Grace Bible Church in Fairburn, and also on the web at gracebible.faith. That is gracebible.faith. And here at Grace Bible Church, we're working our way through the book of James. This last Sunday, we returned to the seventh major section of the letter, chapter 3, verses 13 through 18, a section I titled, The Wisdom from Above. Now, I originally introduced this section in late December by way of reviewing our progress in the book to that point. And in this, showing wisdom's role and also James's use of contrast in developing his points, a classic method for Hebrew wisdom literature. Now, having that foundation, I was able to directly engage the text, which serves as a notable high point in the letter, as it gives unique attention to a central element of the book, namely wisdom. Now, I've argued that James is writing in such a way so as to cultivate and even press us to being made perfect, complete, and lacking in nothing, or as it might be stated, to see us fully matured in Christ. So what is wisdom's relationship to that aim? Well, it's this. Wisdom is the critical ingredient for our maturity's success. And we see this established very early in the letter, and what I've come to be increasingly persuaded is perhaps the cornerstone to the whole of the letter, James 1, 2 through 8, where he states, "Consider it all joy, my brothers, when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith brings about perseverance. And let perseverance have its perfect work, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. But if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all generously and without reproach, and it will be given to him. But he must ask in faith, doubting nothing. For the one who doubts is like the surf of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. For that man ought not to expect that he will receive anything from the Lord, being a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways." So from this foundational passage, we see that trials will come and that we are expected to persevere through them. This work of perseverance produces a perfecting work within us. However, to succeed in this work of perseverance, we need wisdom, which is generously provided by God. Now, from this opening passage through the whole first half of the book, James does not explicitly or directly mention wisdom again until our passage from this last Sunday. However, wisdom and its critical impact is woven throughout every section of the letter. So when James chooses to not only directly reference it once more, but to do so in a full manner, it strikes us as not only distinct, but also very important. And such are among the reasons that this passage in chapter 3 is regarded as a high point in the letter. And with this, our passage reads as follows. "Who among you is wise and understanding? Let him show by his good conduct his works in the gentleness of wisdom. But if you have bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your heart, do not be arrogant and so lie against the truth. This wisdom is not coming from above, but is earthly, natural, demonic. For where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there is disorder and every evil practice. But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good works, without doubting, without hypocrisy, and the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace." Now, one of the matters that I addressed when introducing this text was that James took this critical element of this letter and chose to describe it rather than narrow it down to a precise definition. So he speaks of wisdom being like faith in that it produces works, good works, and the strength of gentleness. He speaks of wisdom's clear origin. It is generously provided by our good God and Father as it comes down from above. He speaks of wisdom's qualities. Again, it's first pure, then peaceable, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruits, without doubting and without hypocrisy. And he develops these descriptions by also contrasting them with a counterfeit wisdom, the wisdom from below, which is truly no wisdom at all. In laying this foundation, we worked our way through the first two portions of the text. James's commanding introduction of wisdom in verse 13. And also James's commanding introduction of wisdom's counterfeit, verse 14. And I called these two sections commanding introductions, as James provides three imperatives or commands in introducing both wisdom and its counterfeit. In verse 13, James calls upon the demonstration of the works of wisdom by one who would claim its possession. So just as a living faith is a working faith, so also true wisdom from above is a working wisdom. There will be a clear pattern of life that includes evidentiary works if one is truly walking in God's wisdom. works that are exercised in the gentleness of wisdom. And then in verse 14, he gives two more commands, effectively building rebukes for the one who would claim wisdom and yet indulges in morbid selfishness. He effectively demands that such a person stop their arrogance and abandon their lying against the truth. Now, Lord willing, we're going to finish out the remainder of this passage next week, verses 15 through 18. But in the meantime, for access to the full message that we've reviewed today, you can go to our website at gracebible.faith. That is gracebible.faith. And here you can access all our messages in James, as well as other studies in both video and audio formats, which are also available on YouTube and Spotify, both linked through our website. And we hope that our study in James has and will continue to be a blessing to you as you pursue this aim of being made perfect, complete, lacking in nothing as we walk in the wisdom from above. Grace and peace to you all.